made a lot of mistakes starting out as a content creator, and this video is about how not to make the same mistakes that I made when I started this 5 years ago. In this video, I'm going to give you 11 mistakes I made as a content creator and what I would have done differently. As of this month, I've been a YouTuber full-time for about a year. First off, if you're a fan, thank you for being a fan. This is a hard job and I appreciate you watching my work. Thank you for watching my videos, giving me super thanks, paying for my Substack, and buying my t-shirts. It's because of you that I can pay my mortgage. Now, it took me a good 4 or 5 years to become an overnight success, and I learned a lot. This video is about the mistakes I made and what I discovered along the way, and I'm going to put it up online so we all can learn, especially you new YouTubers out there. This video isn't about like make good content or have good thumbnails. It's about all the stuff that's going to get you in trouble, like not paying your taxes or not reading contracts completely. So if you're new to this, you might want to listen so you don't make the same mistakes I made. If you're a Ryan McBeth subscriber, you might get a laugh or two out of this. So mistake number 1 is not forming an LLC. LLC means limited liability company. I dumped thousands of dollars into computer equipment, microphones, and green screens, and none of it could be written off my taxes because I didn't have a business. None of that was considered a business expense. As a YouTuber, you are a business first, and you are selling your expertise. Get an LLC or a limited liability company or whatever the equivalent of your locality to an LLC is. Also, get a corporate card and get a corporate bank account. Ideally, get 2 corporate bank accounts. One where you get your money and the other where you put money away for your taxes. Get a business address or a studio. Get a work phone. You don't want to be giving out your personal number to all the shady advertising scammers that you're going to meet, and you're going to meet quite a few of them. Also consider purchasing a domain where you can have your own custom URL and email. It's just a little bit more professional than having a Gmail or a Yahoo Mail. Number 2 is budget your free time. When you start doing this, you will have to start feeding the beast. YouTube always expects new content, and you are going to have to sacrifice a lot of free time. Yes, it's possible to do this part-time. I did it part-time for 4 years. But the more you work, the more money you make. And I think most creators have no idea how much work goes into making a video. For my videos in particular, if you see 1 minute of footage, I spend about an hour editing that, and I spent even more time researching that. Now that might be different if you have like a gaming channel, but there's still a significant amount of work put into editing. Last year, I went out to the USS Eisenhower, and I met a journalist there who's really interested in getting into YouTube and Instagram, and I advised her on how to do it. She did 1 video, and then she stopped posting. This is hard. This is work. This is a job. I work between 13 and 16 hours a day. If something big pops up in the news, I'll stop what I'm doing and I'll go make a video. I even keep a Chromebook in my car so that when I'm charging my Tesla, I can write or edit scripts. If I'm going out for a run, I listen to podcasts or I listen to Blinkist so I can constantly learn even while I'm running. So if you have a relationship in your life or kids, block off time to unplug and be with them. Your family and your kids should be your number 1 customer. And actually, I just mentioned Blinkist. One of the ways I save time is with Blinkist. As you can see by my background, I'm at the beach right now. So let's go outside. I want to show you something. Look, I do not have a lot of time, and the Blinkist app gives me actionable summaries from over 6,600 nonfiction books and podcasts in just 15 minutes to read or to listen to. Even when I'm on the beach, I'm always learning, so I pop in my earbuds and I listen to or read Blinkist. I work in AI for the Texas Era Med Lab, so I need to know about advancements in AI and what other books people are reading about AI. Blinkist has plenty of books about AI so I can learn while I'm sitting on the beach. Look, the world is pretty crazy right now, so maybe take a break from doom scrolling and make some positive changes by using Blinkist. 80% of Blinkist users have made positive changes in their lives thanks to Blinkist, and I am one of them. I just finished Understanding Artificial Intelligence, which really helped me understand talking points about AI for when I go on podcast. And with Blinkist Spaces, you'll see my recommendations. So join me and 31 million other Blinkist users in becoming smarter every time you pick up your phone. and get 40% off Blinkist annual premium. Start your 7-day free trial by clicking the link in the description box below. Let's head back inside. Okay, thanks for that little trip to the beach with me. So let's talk about number 3, developing your brand. I lost my way sometime last year when I first quit my job to do YouTube full time. I live this bachelor life. I drink when I want, I smoke when I want. When I fly somewhere to do consulting, I might stay for an extra few days just to enjoy a new city. My brand is that I'm this guy in his bathrobe with a cigar who gives pretty good intelligence analysis. And that's me. It really is me, but in some ways, this is a character. It's a character that works. It's my brand, but it's a character. And around this time last year, I thought, I'm going to be a serious journalist. And I wrote some articles, and what I got in return was some of the lowest revenue I ever got on YouTube. And that was my punishment for trying to be something I wasn't. People wanted the character of Ryan McBeth, not some guy pretending to be Richard Engel. Now, I know when I shouldn't be in character, if I'm doing a serious video like this video or I'm going on the TV news, but I developed this character of America's bachelor uncle that you wish you could have a beer with or will come over for Thanksgiving. And that works for me. So figure out what your character is and lean into that character. Mistake number 4 was my failure to collaborate and promote others. When I first started this, I used to have people ask me to bring other experts on the channel, and I never listened because, people click that button for me, right? Not somebody else. And then one day I realized I needed an artillery expert to appear in one of my videos, so I asked Preston Stewart. And now this is probably one of my most popular videos. There is enough cake for everybody to eat. If a podcast asks you to go on that podcast if it will support your brand. Reach out to YouTube experts and have them guest star in your videos. People who have similar content to you are not threats, they are opportunities. Collaborate whenever possible. And use every single channel to get the word out about your videos. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Use all of those channels to drive eyeballs to YouTube. Now, the 5th mistake I make was focusing too much on trending topics instead of long tail. The mistake I made here was concentrating on short, topical videos. Shorts are great. They drive eyeballs to your brand. You can get a lot of information across in a short amount of time, and I love educating people. But many people who subscribe to my shorts didn't even know I made long-form content. And staying on trending topics is nice, but with long-form content, you're going to get that recurring revenue, and it doesn't tend to disappear as fast as shorts. If you have a viral hit with a short, that's great, but nobody's ever going to watch that video again after 3 days. Now, that being said, it's good to ride trends, but also consider putting out good long-tail content. And these long-tail videos are videos that'll be interesting for years to come. My video about how artillery works was published in June of 2022. And even today, it makes about $28 a month. And all of the videos in my How the Military Works series are long-tail. They remain relevant and interesting long after the initial premiere. I don't have to put in essentially any work. I made them once, I never have to do anything again. So yes, follow trends to get eyeballs, but also make long-term content that will remain relevant for years to come. My 6th mistake was not hiring an agent until relatively recently. Agents will bring you things like advertisers and speaking opportunities. In turn, they will take a 20% cut of your earnings from that deal. But it's a lot easier to get deals with an agent who already has relationships with advertisers than it is to chase individual advertisers down yourself. And if you try to do things yourself, the time you spend chasing down an advertiser to get them to pay you is wasted time, which is money. And you're trying to get money that's owed to you. Make that your agent's job. A few notes on this. Don't take an agent who asks for more than 20%, and if an agent contacts you, research them and make sure they're representing reputable content creators. Avoid agents who insist on long-term contracts for any sort of engagement, and especially avoid language that binds in perpetuity. Don't let someone hijack your content. My 7th mistake was sustainability. I got popular because my content was about the Ukraine war, but my channel almost died after the Kherson offensive because there wasn't a lot to talk about. With Russia and Ukraine, just started digging in, and I was like, maybe I ought to spread out my coverage a little bit. And I knew a lot of stuff, and people were still hungry for knowledge about the military or about intelligence topics. So that's when I started doing videos about how airborne operations work, and people want to know how a parachute actually opens. That's something I knew. And just by branching out into more military and security content, I was able to retain and also grow my audience. So if your channel is about something specific that could end tomorrow, think about how you can fill that content void or how you can pivot. Some things will always have eyeballs, like finance or fashion or politics. But if your content is around video games, what are you going to do if that game isn't popular anymore? You might not be as good playing another game, and you're going to lose eyeballs. The 8th mistake I made was not paying quarterly taxes. So I currently pay about 47% of my income in taxes. That's right, the government takes about half of my YouTube income. The last thing you want is to get a massive tax bill at the end of the year. That first year I became successful, I got a massive tax bill. I found myself having to sell stock to pay taxes, and then I have to pay taxes on the stock that I sold. So figure out what your tax rate is and set aside a separate bank account just for tax money. What I do every month is on the last day of the month, I look at my profit, I deduct my expenses, then I take that money and I put it in a separate bank account that I just don't even touch. Every quarter, I log into the IRS in the state of Maryland and I pay Caesar what I owe. QuickBooks, Xero, NetSuite, even a spreadsheet will help track your expenses and your earnings. You need to know what you are earning so you don't get that big surprise at the end of the year. Now, that being said, remember how at the beginning of the video I said get a company credit card? If you buy a computer, a phone, a microphone, put it on your business card so that at the end of the year you will have a list of expenses. My 9th mistake was not developing multiple revenue streams. When I first started, I was a software engineer for Accenture, so that job was paying the bills. I wasn't really motivated to grow my business because why? I had a job. Accenture was my full-time job, and I missed out on a heck of a lot of money because I considered YouTube a side job where I was just educating people and maybe earning a little extra money. I didn't do channel memberships, I didn't do Patreon, I didn't do t-shirts, I didn't do endorsements, I didn't do ads. And by the time I really wanted to jump in and quit my full-time job to do YouTube full-time, I had a few months of really scary times where I'm looking at that bank account and I was used to getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. And now I'm waiting for that YouTube check going, oh crap, man, I'm broke. So having multiple sources of money coming from different vendors at different times is a really, really helpful thing that makes ends meet. Also note that depending on your content, you're always running the risk of being demonetized. Either demonetized for a single video or an entire category of videos. Now, this probably isn't going to be an issue if you're knitting, but I once did a video about software programming that was demonetized for violence, and when that happens, your viewership drops like a rock. I mean, YouTube only makes money when they serve out ads, so why would they serve out your content if they can't make any money either? My final mistake, well, really my 10th mistake, was taking counsel in my naysayers instead of my data. You're going to get a lot of negative comments. You're going to get a lot of people who will comment on a video and they unsubscribe because they didn't like it. They'll just say, unsubscribed. And read enough of those comments and you'll start to think, wow, maybe I should listen to these guys. But they're not putting in the work. You are. I was recently on the Danny Jones podcast and oh my God, the comments section. People saying I look like I'm from Jurassic Park, that I'm a CIA plant, that I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know how I'm simultaneously a CIA plant and don't know what I'm talking about, but whatever. But the watch time that Danny Jones got for that video that I was on and the comments that he got were two diametrically opposed things. So if the data for your video indicates that an audience is receptive and growing and the watch time is there, don't listen to the negative comments. You're doing fine. And if you ever find yourself being slammed on Twitter or Instagram or in the comments, turn off the computer, put away your phone, go do something. After a day, the people with the torches and pitchforks, they move on to something else. My 11th mistake was not making the content fit the time. YouTube has something called mid-rolls. If your video is over 8 minutes long, they will put an ad in the middle or a mid-roll ad in the middle of your video. And essentially your revenue goes up by 1/3 because you get the ad at the start of the video, the ad in the middle, and then the ad at the end of the video. And that's great if you have over 8 minutes of content. But if you don't have 8 minutes of content and you try to stretch 5 minutes of content out to 8 minutes, your audience is going to detect that. And some of my initial videos, I tried to stretch those videos out to get those mid-rolls in, and the videos just weren't as good. I wasn't being as informative. So respect your audience's time and respect the fact that your audience is tuning in to see your opinion on something or get information on something. Don't try to give them fluff just to push that video out to 8 minutes. Your audience will know when that's happening to them. One final thing. This job can be incredibly hard, but it can also be incredibly rewarding. I've never met anyone who worked for themselves and hated the boss. So the opportunity to work for myself and set my own hours while doing something I love and supporting my beloved U.S. Army is a real privilege. I appreciate your viewership. Thank you guys for watching. Now go buy a Bunker Branding t-shirt, join my Substack for $5, and thank you to Blinkist for sponsoring. Click the link below to subscribe to Blinkist.
Hey everyone! New Ryan McBeth t-shirts and hoodies from Bunker Branding are available. I'm gonna get the HIMARS shirt. What are you gonna get, Donald? The Patriot shirt, because I'm a patriot. It's the best shirt, the biggest shirt. Make 14 tangos great again. What are you gonna get, Barack? Let me be clear. I'm gonna get a Drone Sweet Drone shirt. What about you, George?
I'm gonna get a Trident missile shirt because they're weapons of mass destruction.
I'm going to get a Landmine Marker shirt because my presidency always blew up in my face.
I'll tell you what I'm going to get.
Ronald Reagan, but you're dead.
I came back to tell you that no matter our politics, we're all Americans. And we should buy Ryan's hoodies and t-shirts because they pay for the stock footage and licenses that allow him to make awesome content. So come on down to Bunker Branding and buy a Ryan McBeth t-shirt or I'll start the bombing in 5 minutes.